Hey guys, this is Jerry, welcome to the channel. Today we are looking at the MG3 petrol version. In New Zealand there are two drivetrains that's available. This one is the 1.5 litre petrol, where if you want the slightly more performance and slightly better power consumption, you can go to the hybrid version. Today we're just driving this petrol vehicle. This sits at 25,990 plus ORC for the basic spec and 27,990 for the top spec of this particular vehicle. It's a little bit more expensive than old generation, but you are getting a much better car, not only from the look and for the interior features, everything, also from the driving perspective. From the exterior, this car is longer and wider, has a longer wheelbase compared to the last generation MG3. Has a very sleek design at the front, bonnet lines, shoulder lines around the door trims over here. 16-inch alloys are available on all the MG3s sold in New Zealand. This vehicle is finished in the Brighton blue metallic. There are also 7 colors available in New Zealand and Australia as well. Behind us, we also get LED tail lights. There are some black contrast on that as well. The roof spoiler is quite minimum. It's definitely a lot gentle compared to the last generation. I wish it could do a maybe more aggressive spoiler, but yeah, this is what it is. The shape is quite generic. It's exciting. I love the front. At the back, it's okay, to be fair. At the front, new MG logo, plus the glossy black trim and some plastic over here. We've got some flares over here, air intake underneath as well. Full LED premium headlights are also available on this particular Essence spec. This is considered to be the top spec for the petrol version, of course. Now let's go to the back to see how the boot is like. Behind the seats, we are getting 297 liters boot space, which is very useful. It's on par with industry standard other vehicles at this sort of dimensions or market. Underneath, we are getting a space saver. Unlike the hybrid, this gets a space saver. The rear seats aren't really split folding. That means if you want to drop down the seat, you will need to go inside, kind of step inside and pull the handle on both ends to be able to drop it. It's not the easiest sort of way to do it. With that saying, I still love these rear seats. They are very supportive, has a longer sort of base compared to the last generation. Air vents and USB charging are the first compared to the last generation as well. Along with that, we got ISOFIX on the outer seats plus tethering points at the back. If I take a seat inside, this is my sitting position at the 178 centimeters tall. I've got reasonable amount of space at the back. I've got really good support on my leg, some amount of foot room, some amount of leg room, and okay amount of headroom as well. So in its class, this has one of the best seating space compared to a lot of competitors on the market. Now, this is how the front seats looks like. Again, half leather trim on the side, fabric in the center, plus manual adjustments and orange stitchings over here. Now we're inside the cabin, let's get it to start. Push start is also available on all the MG3 trims in New Zealand and Australia. First thing, we got the similar shape steering compared to the MG4. This particular top spec gets leather wrapped steering. All the functions and buttons are identical to the MG4. On this side, sort of your cruise control settings, some start buttons to personalize the functions. On this side, that's your volume or manual adjustment for the dashboard. Speaking of the dashboard, we got a 7-inch display. That's your digital panel. Looks nice, looks modern, looks a little bit tacky as well. You get different functions you can change, fuel rating and tire pressure, all that things available on there. And in the center, that's a 10.1-inch display. This is a nice graphic and very similar system like the MG4, but with some improvement. First thing is the climate control. Although you can go into the climate control to change quite a few things, but you can also change everything if you're outside the menu. How smart is that? I love that improvement. I know it could be a very small thing for other people, but if you are familiar with MG cars, that's nice. Another thing that's nice is your setting. Under the vehicle, under the convenience, you can actually personalize the start button on your steering, left and right. On this one, unlike the MG4, you do get a few more options like a vehicle control, so you can go into the vehicle setting, 360 camera, that's normal, but source is really important for me. You can change your music source while you are driving the vehicle. Previously on the MG4, you actually have to go into the center to change whatever you like. Again, that's smart, and it kept this very nice feature on the climate control. If you tap the start button, which is personalized to the climate control, you can use the switch up and down, left and right to change what you want on the climate control. Again, I really like that. That's pretty much it. Navigation is available, and a top spec, you get the bind vehicle, which is your iSmart connectivity. Again, very nice, cool feature. You also get tons of safety driving features, including adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assistance, blind spot, speed sign recognition, pre-collision warning, and all those features, even on the basic spec. That's impressive for this price range. Additionally, on this particular spec, you also get the 360 camera that allows you to see what's around you. Pretty clear, I would say, for this price range. It's not as sharp as some of the, let's say, Mercedes or BYDs, but it's reasonable. It's quite nice to have that for a small car like this. Underneath the screen, we got some direct buttons for your aircon, for your home button, hazard lights, and storage tray over here. A small divider for your cup holders, USB-C and USB-A charging, plus a single 12-volt socket. The gear shifter on this is quite different from the electronic gear shifter like the hybrid, but they're okay, it works. Handbrake and auto hold. Divider over here for your storage, a slider for your storage as well. Glove box is decent too, so that's the storage department for this vehicle. Other things, the build quality on the doors, just plastic but soft material on the top. Nice leather material over here, nice leather on the armrest where on my arm seats. If you're looking for the basic spec, the leather wrap steering will go to a plastic one. Maybe I'll do a video in the future to let you know how the basic spec looks like. In today's video, that's the end of the walk around for interior and exterior. Let's get it on the road to go for a drive to see how it goes. Alright, let's talk about the powertrain first. This is powered by the 1.5 natural aspirate 4-cylinder petrol motor. Although it looks similar like the last generation, but it's a totally new engine and new drivetrain. The power output on this vehicle is 81 kilowatts and 142 Newton meters torque. It's actually 1 kilowatt less compared to the last generation, but it felt better and way better compared to the last generation. It's mounted a CVT transmission, not like the old 480 on the old one anymore. The CVT felt smooth. It's making a small noise as per normal as all the CVT transmission is like, but overall the driving part is quite pleasant. The handles, just like the hybrid we talked about before, it's very nice handling. The chassis itself is pretty good. I mean, this particular drivetrain could even handle a bit more power, but it's fun. Like overall driving experience, it's normal. And we have no one behind us. There's no sports mode. Let's do a rolling start from 40 or 35 instead. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Don't expect to be a high performance vehicle in this sort of vehicle, to be fair. It's never going to be like that. The purpose of the MG3 has always been city driving cars or urban driving cars for your daily commute. Although the power is quite slow, or you can call it sluggish, I personally think this felt much better than the last generation. Not only that, the handling is quite nice as well. It's a lot more refined, and you can feel the road noise is a lot more refined as well. Still small. On this windy day, we are getting some sort of wind noise from somewhere around the doors, but it's certainly acceptable. And the road still is quite rough here as we're driving in more of a countryside on New Zealand road. Once you're getting on the road, the CVT felt quite smooth. The pickup is gentle. Another thing about the transmission, you can actually shift the transmission lever to the right. Now go into eco mode. You can see the eco sign on the right bottom. And just a slightly slower pickup, but better on fuel consumption. Speaking of fuel consumption, the factory figure is about 6 liters per 100 k's. I haven't driven this car for long enough to really test it. I will maybe make a video about that in the future, but don't hold me onto it. And we're traveling on this countryside road. You can feel the steering. I love the steering feels. It's front wheel drive, nothing exciting, nothing sharp or sporty, but it is responsive. There's very little dead spots on the steering. At some stage, like when you slightly turn, you can feel it's talking to you, but once you turn a little bit heavier, it's getting softer. But the chassis is still quite strong. Like I drove on motorway the other day, it's still solid. But the power isn't super strong, let's put it that way. Brakes feels okay or good or generic. The good thing about these brakes, they finally got all-round disc brakes. That means unlike the last generation or even the current competitors on the market, there's no drum brakes at the back. It's better performance, probably a little bit better for maintenance cost as well in the future once you reach to 50-60 k's on the road. For some people, if you are first time driving this vehicle, if the dealer hasn't really set anything up, you'll notice the indicator will sound really loud in some cases. You can actually change that, by the way. There is in the system setting under the sound, allow you to change the indicator volume sound, plus even the speed limiter information or the driving warnings, things like that. So do remember, you can change it to be a little bit lower volume in case you do not like it in any way. Alright, we're on the nice open road here. Let's do another rolling start at a slightly lower speed, about 20. See how it goes. Standard normal mode, no sport. Foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator, all the way. 1, 2, 3. The engine definitely does make quite a bit of noise here and there. On the CVT, it's definitely not pushing me to the seats. It's gentle and yeah, it's just what it is for this size of the vehicle. I'm not sure about the 0 to 100 timer. I'd assume that will be around 11 to 12 seconds. And quite frankly, it's on par with many competitors on the market. It's definitely going to be a lot slower than the hybrid drivetrain. To say it's acceptable, it still felt smooth compared to the last generation. Driving on this rough steel, you can feel the bumps, you can feel the suspension is working. And some part of it is transferred to this cabin overall. And the noise level is okay. I would say, again, on par with many competitors. When you turn around to the traction control, I don't think it works quite great around these tight corners. Whenever you go through these bumps, you can feel them. Yeah. I would say there's still some amount of understeer on this vehicle, even it's a small car. The steering handling is definitely not as sharp as the MG4. It's a bit more softer, and you don't feel the corners, you can push the corners as hard as the MG4 either. But all these things are expected for what this car can perform. You're not going to push these wrong corners, you're not going to take these on racetracks. It's nothing exciting, especially for the CVT transmission. But the good thing is they are pretty reliable. As we are following these vehicles, when at low speed, it's still nice cruise. I certainly did not expect so many traffic on this small country road today, as this is my secret go-to road on testing cars. But yeah, overall driving experience is okay. Don't expect this to be a high premium performance vehicles. I think it's really good compared to the last generation for its price point and for its specification. Like the driving part of it is really nice too. At the same time, it's still an average car. It's still like your commuting car. Nothing exciting for the CVT. If you want a bit more power, a bit more exciting features, things, just buy the hybrid. But for saving money, this is good value still on this price point. And just like that, the pickup is still really smooth, and the noise level is quite low until you put the foot on the accelerator quite heavily, like this. Just like that, when the CVT is trying to work on the motor. I think that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoy the contents. If you do not forget to subscribe and like towards this channel. And if you're looking to buy one in Auckland, New Zealand, why not contact me? I work at Ebbett, East Auckland dealership. That's the end of this video. I will see you next one. Thank you very much.